Welcome back to TMZ Sports. I am your host, Mojo Mutati, and right now I am joined by a man that needs no introduction whatsoever. One of the most famous, most successful pro wrestlers in the history of the business, a big time actor as well. We'll get into that shortly. But Adam Copeland, how are you, brother? Good to see you, my friend.
Good, man. I can't live up to that intro, though. That was pretty damn good. I need you as my hype man wherever I go.
Hype is the one thing I can bring always, as I'm sure you already know. But
Yeah.
how can you not be hyped for you, especially now, December 28th at World's End, back in the fold after that nasty leg injury that you suffered coming off the top of the cage? First things first, how are you feeling, man? You've come back from some crazy injuries.
Yeah. It's not necessarily what you want on your resume, but um, but hey, it's part of what we do, right? I mean, if you get into this thinking you're not going to end up with some scars and plates and screws, then you're in for a rude awakening. And I've really just looked at every injury or every surgery as a challenge, and then you almost it gives you incentive. At least it does for me. That's how I've always, kind of framed injuries in my mind is like, okay, it's another challenge. Let's go. Then you almost find yourself like enjoying the process of fighting and working with your body to get back from these things. And yeah, as you get older, it gets harder, but I still strangely enjoy it. I'd rather not get injured, but I try to at least reframe it so that I can almost enjoy the process. I know that sounds masochistic almost, but
Well, I don't think you sign up for a life like this unless you got a little bit of masochism in you. I mean, shoot, and you've had a history with every pro wrestler does, right? But you've been fortunate enough to have such an incredible career. You had the neck injury, you came back from that, and then now the leg. Are you 100% now? Is there any kind of lingering, nagging injuries from that, or you're good to go?
I feel good to go, man. Like the rest of my body feels great. My leg feels great. I've actually been cleared for about 3 months. But then with everything that happened here with the hurricane, it just, we all had the discussion. It was like, it's more important to be home, and kind of get everything at home squared away, and then just come back to work. So, I mean, that's amazing to be able to have that understood and to really, okay, it was time to be home. Who cares if my leg's ready to go? It's time to be home. We don't have drinking water. We can't, brush our teeth. Like it's just real life, right? So everything feels great though, because in that time I've been healthy and going to the ring and been able to go 100 in the gym. So yeah, it's time. I feel ready.
And with the hurricane, is everything okay at home now?
Yeah, I mean, we lost a ton of trees. Our fencing was destroyed. We had some flooding. It took out all my comics, which sucked. But hey, paper, right? When you hear about people losing entire families, it kind of throws it all in perspective, right? There's towns that are just washed away, like entire towns. So when you got out, started driving around and seeing, and still here, if you drive around, there's trees piled up to the streetlights. It's going to take a while for this area to recover, and it didn't really get the news coverage. I feel like of what actually happened here. I mean, we got hit with a category 4 in the mountains. That we're 7 hours from the coast. Like, uh, so it was. No one here was prepared for it. How could you be? But it's slowly but surely. It's a resilient area too.
Man, that's awesome to hear that the community is coming back from it. People are starting to find their way through this. Obviously, a really, really challenging situation. Taking it back to AEW, though, the comeback, really excited stuff, right? Exciting stuff. Rated FTR teaming up with the FTR boys, couple of
Yeah.
Carolina boys themselves. What has that been like? How did this come about? Everyone's very excited about this.
Well, it's one of those deals. I met Daniel Cash. I still have a hard time calling him Cash, but I met Cash when I first moved here to Asheville in about '09, and then little by little we struck up a friendship, and then met Dave Dax, and just became really good friends. Salt of the earth guys, just family guys. At the same stage, we're all in that same place. We all love wrestling, and we had talked about when I was still injured with the neck, like, oh, just imagine if we could ever get back, or I could get back with them and do some stuff. And then to fast forward all these years later and go, right, now we're in the same company. Now we can do this. Our first match as a unit will be in the town that we all live in, where they were born and raised. First show streaming on Max, like it, and it's taking place in Asheville, coming out of the hurricane. We're donating to some local charities, beloved Asheville Dream, Mana Food Bank. Like, it feels good right now, because this show won't be just about the wrestling and streaming on Max. It'll be about giving back to the community too, as cliche as that sounds.
Well, this is awesome, man, and it's kind of crazy because it makes so much sense if you didn't think about this possibility before. I mean, those are two guys that I personally know very well. Probably wrestled them both hundreds of times over the past 10, 15 years at this point. But you're right, big family guys, people that want to give back to the community, and for you guys all to be able to come together and make this effort and do something so great for the community after everything that you guys been through. I think that speaks volumes to your character. Got to ask you another question too. How cool has it been to reunite with, face off against, just be back with Christian and AEW after the career that you guys have had? Talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I mean, again, one of the reasons I came to AEW. I looked at it, and I got a few close friends in this industry, like the close ones, and those are three of them, and they're all in one place. Whew, man, that seems very intriguing to me. And then you look at the roster, and it's just a murderer's row of guys that I've never been in there with, and that to me was so enticing and so exciting, because if you're in one place for a long time, chances are you've kind of run through what you can run through. And then you're really having to go, okay, so now what is it? Now what is it? Now what is it? Well, now it's time off. Well, I'm at a point where time off, I got to go, so even this injury, I'm like, I got to get back and go, because time is of the essence here. And, but to be able to come back, run it with Christian, and do what we did, and who knows where it goes from there. I feel like at some point, a CNC tag team run should be in the cards, but you never know. Getting to do rated FTR, I mean, it's all bucket list things that are happening now that I cooked up while I was retired. If I was ever able to get back, this would be cool. This would be cool. This would be cool. And now I'm getting to do it.
Well, shoot, shifting gears here for just a second. You just talked about bucket list things. Was being nominated for an Emmy on your bucket list? We talked about wrestling a bit. Maybe people aren't as familiar with your acting career. You've been in a ton of things. Obviously, a career there that's been unbelievable. And now you're nominated for an Emmy with Percy Jackson. How cool is that?
Oh, dude, it's stupid, right? Like, it's when I first started acting, I remember Beth telling me, she goes, "You're going to be the first wrestler nominated for an Emmy." I went, "Okay, yeah, sure, honey. I appreciate that. You're my biggest cheerleader. Thanks." And because when I first started doing this, like, I'm not an actor. I'm a wrestler. That's all I've ever been. I'm a pro wrestler who, can dip his toes in this because it's storytelling and it's fun. But then in my second season with a show called Haven, that's when I really started to fall in love with the work, and how to tell stories on this platform as opposed to the live element of pro wrestling. And then I started to appreciate those things, and hey, I can make choices, and if those choices don't work, I got another take. Now I can try this. Super fun. Still tap that vein, that creative storytelling vein. And again, fell in love with it, but I still kind of refused to call myself an actor. It wasn't until my manager called me with the Emmy nomination news. He goes, "So, do you consider yourself an actor now?" And I said, "Yeah, I guess I kind of have to consider myself an actor now too." Um, but dude, if you had told me, when I was 10 years old and when I was 40 years old that I'd be nominated for an Emmy, I'd say, yeah, you're bad shit.
You gotta love that. Awesome stuff, man. Well, last question here before I get you out of here. What does the future look like? Obviously, we got the Emmy. We've talked about wrestling. What does the future look like for Adam Copeland?
Honestly, fun. It just looks fun, and that's truly where I'm at in life. It's like if it's fun, I'm in. If it's not, I've been there, I've done that. I've put my time in. I just want to have fun. And in terms of wrestling and in terms of AEW, where do you need me? Right, you need me in the world title picture and the main event picture right now. Cool. All right. Oh, you want me over here for the TNT title? Okay, cool. You need me in tag team. You need me in trios. I'm the designated hitter. Right. So, um, but fun. That's the goal. That should that should be everybody's goal. Is just to be able to have fun, because then again, cliche, it ain't work then.
Well, Adam, I love to hear it, and brother, it was good to see you again. It's been a long
Your
time.
bud.
Really appreciate you coming on the show. Thanks for joining us on TMZ Sports, my friend.
Thanks for having me, man. Great to see you.